You know what's crazy? I just talked to one of my boys today, and me and him were just having a conversation, and we're just talking about the things we were going through, because I ain't talked to him in a couple months. But it's weird because he know that I was going through a divorce and whatnot. I'm not sad or nothing, but the reason why I say that is because I found out that him and his girl ain't even together no more. Now, this is the crazy part. I used to see him post a lot. And every time I look, I see him and his girl. I thought she was a thorough John. But the sad part about it is, not only I thought she was thorough, I just thought like everything was going good. But then eventually I noticed he stopped posting. This is the thing about social media. A lot of times when you post stuff, this is how people are able to get an insight. If y'all not talking about a relationship, we able to see it and gauge it. It's normally what we do. We just gauge it off of what we see. Be like, oh man, they living it up. They living life and everything look good. But then I noticed I didn't see him on social media anymore for a minute. And I ain't see him and his son and his girl. And mind you, when we talked today, found out that he just started seeing his son again due to courts. He had to go to court and he had to go ahead and do some things, and kind of find out him and his girl ain't even together no more. I'm not going to say what happened, but I'm going to just say that she did him dirty. But it made me realize today that I don't know what happened. I don't know when it started. There's no such thing as a relationship no more. Especially a relationship that you started off to build a family. It seemed like the family dynamic of building a relationship today is null and void. There's no consistency in it. And that's, you know what I mean, can be on both parties. But it's always that one person that started. And I understand that they say that's not the, you know what I mean, you don't want to look at life that way, but at the end of the day, it does start from one person. It's one person that starts to be on that bullish. And next thing you know, the relationship is basically tarnished. Because the whole thing of working stuff out, when people fall out of love, or they get to a point where as though they're not attracted to that person anymore, you might as well call that relationship null and void. You can't get that back. I understand that people live in an atmosphere where as though they watch these Tyler Perry movies. You think you're getting a relationship back. You think it's going to work this way. You think you can please somebody, and next thing you know, you can get it back. In real life, that's not how it goes. I know that for a fact. When I fall out of love, I'm normally not getting the love back. I'm just not. And I can't speak for everybody, but I can speak. You got to understand what kind of person you are. Some people are them people, once they stop liking somebody, maybe every once in a while, you can find yourself going back to something old. But I noticed that as you start to get older, I'm not going to say you normally, I say most don't go back to what they just left. Unless it was something good and it was something that can be repaired. But we're in a place now where as though some things that are done are not repairable. You get to a point where as though you start to look at a person and be like, yo, I really hate them. And it doesn't also help the situation when kids are involved. See, it's one thing to break up, but it's another thing when you got kids involved. When you got kids involved, that whole dynamic just changes. And it changes because when you look at that whole dynamic, you'll realize that when kids are involved, all of a sudden, the mothers and them start to become very vindictive, and they just start doing all type of things. They start doing hatred things to break you. Because it seems as though if you're a father that's a good father and you upstanding, like you about your business, they're going to take you to the ringer. They're going to take you to court. They're going to put you on child support. Because remember, a woman can't take nothing from a man. Can't. We men. That's why the whole thing, we're equal. It's no such thing as equal. But what they're doing is they'll go ahead and put the man on you. Even when you're doing your part. But it's because you start to see people that can't survive. And they start to look at you as like, no, I'm going to make sure he suffer. We got to suffer. Tables turn. We men, we shouldn't do that. Those days over. You can't be shamed no more. Men are now starting to understand that we have to start moving a little different. We get punched in the face by a woman, we got to call the cops. You know, But you seeing now that the dynamics of a relationship is not what it used to be, and it won't be, because everything is all off balance. When we got women today, they're making money. But you'll see when they post, I'm making this much money, I don't need this person to be making this much, because if they're making this much and I'm making this much, I'm up here, they're down here. It belittle me. It's not my lifestyle. And it's funny that when a person start getting that college degree and all of a sudden that money go up, it becomes about them. Me. But when a man does it, he's making sure the household good, everybody good. This is why things are just off. I don't think it will ever get fixed. I understand that. I also seen a comment when somebody was talking about, not somebody, it was a female. And she said, well, I'm tired of guys always talking about women doing this and that. But what is your solution? I noticed that in life, women love to attack the solution. What's the solution? They know the solution, but this is the problem. Men and women are two different playing fields now. I don't think there is a solution. One of the reasons why, two parties, men, I'm gonna be real with you. When men get a chance to understand their real purpose, they understand balance and they understand direction. But when it comes to women, only time they start to understand balance and direction is when they go through chaos and they realize that the grass is not green on the other side. Now you can understand that you do have the men out here that do operate that way too. But also understand when men do operate a certain way of understanding what's important in life, they do take their family situation a lot serious, you know. And it's not to say that we're not going to cheat, because what is cheating? I know it come a time where as though we live in a world now where as though we look at men as, yo, we shouldn't cheat, we shouldn't do this. Not saying that we should get a pass, but I'm going to be realistic with you. I have never seen, even in the end of times, where men did not move a certain way. It's just that men are held to a different standard when we got that licensing called marriage. And when you got that licensing called marriage, women able to use that as leverage. This is why men are pushed in order to get married, because they know that men are going to be like here. They're going to be standing in the corner trying to get through that door, and they can't, because they got that marriage that's holding them to a point where as though they like, yo, if I try to think I'm gonna get away with this, she can just go and say I'm filing for a divorce and try to do whatever she want to do to me. This is why men are not operating from the old mentality that their grandparents or their dads or their moms and them tried to pass down to them, because we seen that the family tree fell apart. When you see that the family is falling apart, you get a chance to see why the world is so out of order right now. It just is. Men don't act like men no more. Women don't act like women. And then when men and women are together, we butt heads. The women think they could beat men. And men got to be able to sit up there and ball up and not fight back because they're a woman. But what happens when they get cracked back? All of a sudden they're a female now, right? I think this is why you're starting to see more and more people now starting to go towards the direction of singleness, because singleness seems to give you more fulfillment today. Not to say that's the be all. Like, at the end of the day, even if I do have somebody, at the end of the day, you still are at a point where as though you looking sideways like, I wonder if this is going to work. But you still optimistic. You still keep your eyes and ears open. Like, I see any F stuff. You know, I got to watch my language. And I think it's on both sides. Even with me, I done slipped up. You know what I mean? Hey, at the end of the day, man, ain't nobody safe out here. Ain't nobody safe to go home. Yeah, but I better not show up in the house and you slobbing on something. I'm going to catch a body. I'm going to probably do her first, though. Just to let her know that she wasn't going to get away. I'm going to get her first. I think about getting him. I wonder. I'm going to see his answer. Either way, it might still be the wrong answer. Yeah, look, if you watch this whole video, like and subscribe, baby. But look, stay up. All right.